If you've been in the market for an ultralight backpacking stove and cooking system, chances are you've come across the JetBoil Stash ultralight cooking system. Hi, I'm Adam, this is Go To Outdoors, and I'd love to welcome you back to another one. Today, we're going to be going over this stove. We're going to be boiling some water, see how long it takes, go over a couple pros, couple cons, and give my overall impressions of this cooking system. So why don't we get into it? So chances are, if you've been looking for an ultralight cooking system to bring on your next camping or backpacking trip, one of the first things you're going to consider is, of course, how much does the system weigh? Well, for the pot, the lid, the stand, and the stove itself in its little stuff sack, it weighs 7.1 ounces, which is just a shade over 200 grams. I want to say it's like 201 grams total. Now, that doesn't include, of course, the fuel canister, which is going to change the weight based on the kind of fuel canister you have and how much fuel you have in it. We're going to get to the fuel canisters here in a little bit. But overall, it's an extremely lightweight and compact system. So let's go see what's inside of it now. One thing I do like is the fact it does have the little flip-off handle here that kind of folds in, that holds everything in place. It kind of clamps over, as you can see, on top of the lid itself that kind of help seal things in. And it's got a silicone coating on it, so when you've been boiling something, you're less likely to burn the crap out of yourself if you go ahead and grab the handle. Now, again, don't touch the side. It's going to be hot, but if you've used the stove, you kind of know that by now. So, when I've been backpacking, this is how I carry this system, kind of exactly like it is, with one exception. You'll notice I do not have the fuel canister inside. Now, this, your typical 400 gram fuel canister, is actually designed, well, the lid is designed to actually hold that, capture that. There's a couple tabs in here, and it clips into place and holds your fuel can. Very nice system, but because I do something different, I can't actually carry this in here, and I'm honestly not the fan of carrying the small canisters anyway. I typically carry a larger one. I don't always carry, the 1 pounder. I usually carry an 8-ounce canister when I'm actually camping, just because if I'm in the backcountry for a while, I don't want to have to worry about running out. Now, on average, one of these smaller canisters, I'm not the biggest fan of carrying them, just because if I can't carry it inside of here, then I might as well just get the slightly larger one. These are, very efficient, very weight-saving sized canisters if you actually are worried about the extra ounces or grams at the end of the day. I don't really count my ounces too hard because of all the other stuff that I carry, so on average I'm usually carrying the next size up, the 8-ounce canister, more often than not, because I don't want to run out. If I need my coffee, I need my coffee. I don't want to be without that. So like I was saying, you do have a good lid that actually seals on with the fold over, holds everything in place. The system also comes with the base. Now, a lot of JetBoils do come with this little stand that you can put on the bottom of your gas canister. Most of the time you're going to be able to find a place that's flat enough to set your whole stove and everything else on top of anyway, so yeah, don't worry about that when you're camping. Next, of course, is the stove itself. It comes in a little bag, little fabric bag, which actually, if you wonder how to fit everything in there, has a little diagram right on the bag of how to pack everything, which is surprisingly handy. But it's just a standard folder and 3-side, and there we go. There is your stove. Very simple, very lightweight. If you've used a backpacking stove, this is very similar in design, of course, to the MSR Pocket Rocket, and of which I also have another video that you can check out right here. I compared the MSR Pocket Rocket to the BRS 3000T, two of the more popular ultralight backpacking stove options that are out there. But this, of course, is going to be option number 3. So, put this aside for a second. I'll show you what else I carry in the pot. Miniature Bic lighter, always carry a Bic Mini. You don't need anything fancy. If you ever run out of fuel in one of these things, the spark is still good enough to be able to light the stove even without a flame. The other thing that I carry is my Sea to Summit X Cup. There should be a little bit more room inside of the pot that I have noticed. The capacity of the pot itself is 800 milliliters. But they only have hash marks on the inside of it to the 500 milliliter mark and the 16-ounce mark of 16 ounces of fluid. So I kind of wish they had it stamped in. Is that a deal breaker? No. it's not. But it's just one of those things. It wouldn't take too much more just to put another stamp in there. I also kind of wish it was a full 1 liter. Now on the website, JetBoil actually has the claimed weight savings of up to 40% lighter than the JetBoil Zip system. You know, of course, I do have another video on that system right here, which you can check out. And most of the differences in the weight are going to be the fact that it is a smaller system. There's no neoprene wrap around it. And, you know, there's no extra measuring cup or anything else that you're going to have. So the weight savings is mostly just getting rid of stuff. But that said, this is still a very, very lightweight cooking system. Now, the JetBoil Zip is also an 800 milliliter cooking system, just like the Stash itself. So, now one thing I do want to mention is, one thing I keep inside of my system as well is actually my Sea to Summit X Cup. I really, really like this cook system. I just wish it had an extra measuring cup or something else to keep on the side. So on the Appalachian Trail last year, what I was carrying was the MSR Pocket Rocket, and I stored that, a gas canister, a lighter, inside of the Snow Peak Titanium, cook mug. Well, it was a 2-piece set that I had. It was the Snow Peak Titanium 2-piece set, and it had a 500 milliliter mug as well as an 800 milliliter cook pot. So I was able to actually boil some water, make my coffee, then be boiling something else while I had my coffee. And I like a multi-piece system just because I don't like to have to wait. You know, if you cook inside of the actual unit itself here, then you're kind of blocking off your ability to have anything else. Now, since I really just use this to boil water more than anything, I really don't cook in here as a rule. It's not really that big a deal, but I still like to have a coffee mug while I'm boiling more for my breakfast, or if I want to make tea at night while I'm making dinner. I like having 2 cups. And good thing is, when it's collapsed, this actually fits perfectly right inside. Pretty much like it was designed to be there. It wasn't, but there you have it. But since I have my mug in here, that's the reason there is no room for me to put the actual gas can. So if I'm not using the gas can, like I said, I carry a larger one anyway. You know, it just works. And now for the part that you've likely all been waiting for, let's go ahead and see how fast this thing can boil some water. So what I'm going to do is get this set up and I'll be right back. So now we've got the stove installed on a 1-pound canister. It'll work on any canister as long as it has the right thread. So apart from that, we have the stove itself. And I'm going to be boiling a ½ liter, 500 milliliters. Let's get that flat for you. 500 milliliters of water. It is, of course, going to be ambient temperature, just like it would be if you're going to be hiking. Now, in my last stove review videos where I did boil times, it was 42 degrees. This time, it is more than double that. So, bear in mind, that will change the speed that you're going to be boiling water. Temperature, altitude, things like that. So, for current conditions, 86 degrees right now. It is the middle of July. This is outside temperature water, so bear in mind that's going to affect the overall boil time. So let's go ahead and do that now. So yes, it may be pushing 90 degrees out here, so boiling time is going to be a bit quicker now than it was when I did my last boil time video. But a minute 46, that's pretty solid performance from something that when you're boiling a ½ liter of water, 500 milliliters of water. Now, I kind of want to do an apples to apples comparison with my other stoves at this point. You know, the JetBoil Stash here, the JetBoil Zip, the MSR Pocket Rocket, and the BRS 3000T. I really want to do a side-by-side comparison of those now, because, you know, when the weather's nice, you're going to get faster boils. If you put the lid on top, even when it's colder, you're going to shave off a few seconds of your boil time to get water to boiling. it's not going to really make that much of a difference at the end of the day, but this thing is a pretty solid little performer. Now, what am I going to do with the water I just boiled? Well, I'm thinking some beef stroganoff is a good idea for lunch today. But I've never tried the new Pro Pack, so we'll see how that one is. Mountain House, by the way, beef stroganoff, that is one of my favorite flavors. So that's actually an idea I have, kind of rating the flavors of a lot of these backpacking meals, but see what I have to do to make that kind of a new series on the channel here, because all of us like these. When you're backpacking, these are pretty much just an easy treat, but that's for later. So overall, I really do have a very positive impression of the JetBoil Stash. Like I said, I've used it, I've carried it for a couple 100 miles now, and you know, it's great in the morning for making coffee, great in the evening for boiling your water for your food, whatever you're making with it. It's super efficient, it's very lightweight. Now again, it's not perfect. There are, you know, some of my other setups I think I like a little bit better because I'm more used to them, but this one is growing on me. I wish there was a little bit more room inside just to be able to, you know, put more stuff, especially with the gas can in there. Now, it could be a little bit deeper. I would prefer it to be a little bit deeper as opposed to wider as it is. Now, yes, it is great that I could put my Sea to Summit X Cup down inside of the unit itself. I just wish there was a little bit more room depth-wise to be able to also use the, hello Hawk, a, you know, gas canister, a 400 gram gas can inside of that at the same time. Cool. Hawk says hi. That would make it a little bit better. I love the fact that everything is self-contained. I love the fact it has a good lid on it. The lid can get captured by the folding handle. Again, this does move, so that's very handy. I don't want to spill hot water, so I'm not going to do that again. It's aluminum, it's not titanium. I would prefer it being titanium myself, just because if I ever did get to the point where I wanted to simmer and do things like that, you know, it's just a personal preference thing. It might shave a fraction of what the weight off of it, but the whole system at 7.1 ounces, that's pretty darn lightweight altogether. I mean, it is right now the lightest complete cook system that is on the market, and it's not even titanium. But there are a couple things I would change. Like I said, overall, I think it's a great unit. Hawk. You done? Thank you. Anyway, like I said, I have a really good overall impression and positive, you know, feedback from what I've used so far with the JetBoil Stash. I would recommend this unit if you're just getting into backpacking, if you're looking for something that's super lightweight and easy to use and all contained in one thing. Absolutely go for it. Retail right now is usually about 130 bucks or so. I have seen it on sale for about 110 from various sources here and there. Just check on it. Trying to film here. I love the fact there's so much wildlife around here, but makes filming difficult. So if you can keep an eye out for some of the sales, again, July 4th is already passed. This is towards the end of July, but there are always sales that you can find on various websites, whether it's Amazon, whether it's on REI. You know, all of them can have... I'm not mad. You can't win sometimes. But like I was saying, it's still a good value for what you're getting. It's lightweight, it's durable, easy to self-contain. And at the end of the day, I would buy another one. I'm actually, you know, kind of looking forward to see what JetBoil comes out with their next option, or the other companies of, you know, the stuff that I have so far. I want to see what the competitors do now that this is on the market. And it's been out for a little while, so there may be some people that have something in the works. But all in all, great product. I love JetBoil. They're easy to use. They're durable. They're reliable. They boil water super quick. And at the end of the day, that's all you really need. But that's all I got for you today on this review. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. If you have any comments, leave them down below as well. I'd love to hear from you. But like I always say, thanks again for watching. Make sure you find a reason to smile today. And I'll catch you in the next one.